Hey guys, what's going on? It's your big dreamer and doer, G Dinero, coming to you today with another TA Tuesday. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and Solana trending back up a little bit, MicroStrategy continuing sideways, and Tesla is on the gas right now. But first, remember, none of this is tax, financial, legal, investment advice. It's your buddy G Dinero helping you increase your financial literacy to help put you and your family on that path to financial freedom. So let's dig into the charts. All right, we're going to start here with the Bitcoin TABI model. And what you'll notice is on the TABI model, we've turned yellow again. So we've gone back down from this light orange, which is the start of the overheated zone, and dropped back down into the yellow zone again right here. Still haven't gotten anywhere near the dark orange, light red, or dark red zones, which signify that we are usually very top heavy. You'll notice that things like the Meyer multiple are also kind of in the chill zone, back down from the 2, back down to the just over 1 zone. You'll notice at the bottom of the chart right here. Going on to the Bitcoin daily chart, we were grinding up ever since April the 7th, dipped below this, this channel that we've been in, this ascending linear regression channel, right at the support zone, right at that 102, what's the bottom of this? 101.7, 102 to $106,000 is the zone. We dropped below that and wicked all the way down to 98 and change. That happens to be, if I remember correctly, that is the short-term holder realized price is 98.3, somewhere thereabouts. That was on the dropping of bombs over in Iran to remove their nuclear capacities. Again, whether you believe in those things or not, just reporting the news. But we did not wick all the way down to the 200-day moving average, but we came close, right? We wicked down out of this channel, right back up into the channel again when we realized there was no retaliation, and back up to the 50-day moving average. You see us sitting there and sitting on that really strong support and resistance of $106,000. We've reset the mean reversion back to the mean. Same thing with RSI is at the mean. Same thing with MACD. Meanwhile, the global liquidity just continues to rise. More money keeps flowing in. That money will likely find a home in Bitcoin. Now we'll move over to the Bitcoin 4-hour chart. On the 4-hour chart, we have been in a descending linear regression channel ever since Thursday, May 22nd. You'll notice that we've been making lower highs and lower lows along the way. So this is, if you look out, if you zoom out and look at it on a bigger picture, it could be the formation of a bull flag. Notice here's the flagpole. We've climbed up this giant move up from the bottoms down here at 74,000 on the 7th of April. And now this is a little bit of a flag formation. If that's the case, we should see an impulsive move up somewhere into the 120 to 130 range coming out of it, if indeed that is the start of a bull flag. But if we kind of dig into where we are currently, sorry about trying to resize this, you'll note we're right on this bubble of massive volume, right? This volume ball from 102, like I mentioned before, up to 106. That is the support and resistance zone. We've got to churn through that. We just came off of being very oversold on the mean reversion, almost 2 standard deviations to the downside. RSI actually dipped below 30. It was down near, I think 22, if I remember correctly. 24 and change, 24 and a half was what the RSI was down here too. And MACD did cross over, giving us a nice juicy buy signal right here. We made it right back up to the 50-day moving average, and that's where we're finding resistance right now. Resistance to the upside, we've got to grind through the 108 range, 109, 110, and then should be off to the races. Would love to see a higher high. So get above this high and this high back here. So that would require us to get back up over $110,000 to confirm the next leg up. Down to the downside, support is sitting down here at around $97,500, $98,000. Would not like to see us drop back down to there, because then it's just a series of lower lows and lower highs with Bitcoin. Solana Bitcoin chart on the daily, that's what I usually look at. This is looking at a few years of data here, going back almost 3 years ago. We're generally grinding to the upside, but we're at the very bottom of that range. So this is the lowest that this pair has been since back in November of 2023. So basically gave back all of the gains that Solana had made against Bitcoin since the election. Sorry, that's November of 23, since 2 years ago. 2 years ago. I'm sorry. I was thinking it was since the election of this year, since 2 years ago. So 2 years worth of gains, Solana versus Bitcoin, have been given back. We're sitting at a near low on that range. We do keep getting these buying type signals with green mean reversion dots, green buy signals, but every time the trend flips up, it flips right back down again. We're in a Bitcoin dominated regime for right now. So Solana has not had the move that a lot of us suspected it will. We'll go over to the Solana chart, and over here, what do you see on the daily chart? Really sideways motion. You could call it that we went up a little bit and pulled back a little bit, but really for the last 3-4 months, it's gone sideways. It's traded in a range of $120 to $180, somewhere in that range, basically trading around the 150 midpoint. That's what it's done for the last 4 months. We are slightly mean reverted to the downside. You'll notice that RSI, a little more sensitive, showed that we almost broke 30 on this recent pullback. Those are typically buying signals, okay? And that's on the daily chart. If we go over into the 4-hour chart, we are in this descending linear regression channel. We just tagged the bottom of it again, had a juicy mean reversion of greater than 1 3/4 standard deviations to the downside. Last time that happened was back here near the end of May. We did get a pop afterwards, another drop, another pop. It's literally going down, right? It's just been going down. What's on the horizon? Well, the Solana ETFs are on the horizon. There's no doubt that this chain does more transactions, processes more volume, generates more income than any of the other chains out there. It's just not having its field day, right? It's having trouble right now busting back up above the 100-day moving average. You see where we had trouble getting above the 50-day moving average here, and we haven't even come close to the 200 since back near the end of May. So almost 2 months ago, literally 2 months ago, since we were back up at the 200-day moving average. These are some of the areas that are going to present resistance on the way back up. This 100-day moving average at 147, this 50% fib level, the 150 level that we've traded on either side of for weeks now, then the 50-day moving average, which is at 160, and finally the 200-day moving average, which is around 170. Again, coming off of great buying signals here on Solana per the chart, but sentiment would tell you otherwise. Sui got its teeth kicked in over the last couple of weeks. It was up here at the 200-day moving average back on the 11th of June and just has gone down and sideways ever since. Notice now we're going to have to battle with the 100-day moving average at about $3, $2.98, call it $3. We're battling with this 50% fib level at 292. Then the 50 is about to cross back down through the 200-day moving average. We had a bull cross, or what they call a golden cross over here. And now we're about to have a bearish cross, or the devil's cross, if you want to call it that, over here, where we're starting to drop back below the 50, will drop back below the 200. So this area is going to present a lot of resistance. 340 to 350 range would perhaps be a range to take some profits if we get back up to there with Sui. Again, we came off of buy signals here. It was significantly oversold to the downside, but even though we're seeing buying signals on mean reversion, every time it tries to turn up, it immediately sells back off again. We did just come off of a buy signal here at the 38 fib. So if you got in at 230 and now you're up to 278, congratulations, you're in profit. MicroStrategy, this is on the daily chart. Now, it looks a little bit different, okay? You see all these squiggly lines on here. This is an indicator. I get a lot of questions on what indicator. This one is called Bitcoin Treasury MNAV indicator. You see it in the lower left-hand corner there, BTC Treasury MNAV indicator. I have customized mine. I took it and customized the living heck out of it. I went in there and I only have it show MNAVs of 1 through 4. I changed the colors of those MNAVs 1 through 4. So I did do some things to mine to go ahead and customize it. I put some lines in down here on the bottom portion. So if it looks funny to you, that's why I did some customization of my own. Why did I do that? It gives me a really good visual right here on the chart to see. If we were at an MNAV of 2, we'd be up at 395. We're not. We're at an MNAV of, if I look down here on the chart, we're at an MNAV right now, fully diluted of 1.88 and undiluted of 1.68. And again, that just means based on if those shares of the converts converted into common shares and all the shares that were able to be issued were issued. That's the fully diluted versus the undiluted, which means where are we currently with the number of shares that are outstanding as of right now, right this minute, not including those conversions. So where are we on the daily chart? We are sitting right on the 50-day moving average, literally right there. That's the green line. We're sitting on the 50-day moving average. Gosh, I say the word literally a lot. The 100-day is down here at about 338. The 200-day is down here at 308. You'll see that we're sitting on this ball of volume right here. This volume ball goes from 366 up to about 400. It's where we've been battling, guys. We've been battling with it since the last run up in November of last year, since January of last year, since May 1st of this year. Yes, we broke above it, right back below it. Notice we're trading right around this red line. That red line is the point of control coming from VRVP. If that doesn't make sense to you, make sure you take my TradingView and technical analysis course. I go over all of these indicators except this new MNAV one. That wasn't out whenever I made the videos. But so what are we looking at to the upside? To the upside, 425 is still our significant resistance to the upside, 425, 430. It's going to be tough to break through that level anytime soon. To the downside, we've got great support down here at 343 if we were happening to drop back that far. And again, we talked about the MNAV. Here it is on the 4-hour chart, MicroStrategy on the 4-hour chart. Notice we are coming off of oversold conditions or a mean reversion of almost -1 standard deviations. However, right now, the RSI has gone right back up to the midpoint here at 50. Same thing with MACD. It's basically like it's trading sideways right now. And that's pretty evident. If we look back to May 23rd, we have just gone sideways for this whole time period with MicroStrategy. It's the quiet before the storm. Again, big things coming near the end of the month. On June 30th, if the Bitcoin price is over $95,000, MicroStrategy will show 12 months worth of profit, right? This quarterly profit will be so big, it'll override the other 3 quarters worth of losses, giving MicroStrategy a profit for a 12-month period. That is the final step for inclusion into the S&P 500. Guys, it doesn't mean they get included immediately. It means they've met all the criteria, and when they vote on it later in the year in September, MicroStrategy will likely be added to the S&P 500. What does that mean? That means a bid that doesn't quit. It's just this perpetual bid coming in because the S&P 500 fund managers have to get a certain number of basis points worth of MicroStrategy exposure in their fund. I'm hearing somewhere between 10 and 15 basis points or 0.1 to 0.15% of the fund will need to be MicroStrategy. That means all those shares are going to have to be bought. So I'm looking at this as a quiet before the storm. This is a coil that's building up. If you're selling covered calls against MicroStrategy, be very careful after June 30th. I'll just leave you with that. So you've got 1 more week's worth of covered calls right now. Anything after that, this thing is likely going to start to run finally. And if it does, it's going to find resistance initially right here at 386. Then it'll find resistance up here at the 61.8% fib level. That's around 425. After that, there is resistance from 425 all the way up to about 450, and it's clear skies above that. There's not much volume that's transpired above that. Tesla has had a nice little pop, a juicy little pop, as I would say lately. That started yesterday, and that came on the heels of the robo-taxi launch in Austin on Sunday. All of the rides went flawlessly. It seemed like people were really jazzed about it. A lot of the Tesla influencers who took rides in the robotaxi said that it was really uneventful. They went super smooth. It was just like you were driving the car yourself, except there was nobody in the driver's seat. A lot of really favorable things. They talked about the displays in the back seat and how your Tesla app connects, and so you can bring your own music with you in the car and all your settings and everything else. It was pretty cool at the end of the day. So that went without a hitch. That all oh, the other thing, 36 cars instead of 10. So I think they said they were going to launch with 10 to a dozen, and they had 36 cars on the road that were robo-taxiing around. So that was also good news. So what did we see? Well, we had come off of being mean reverted to the upside in anticipation of the event. We pulled back hard on June 5th and then immediately popped right back up again. We're starting to sell off a little bit today here on the daily chart. And on the daily chart, if you look, we're in that pocket of resistance. Look at all this volume that we're churning through, and look at, here is the point of control, this red line. We're basically going right back down to the point of control, which is right around 344, 343, $344 a share. If we break up above this, you'll note that we will find resistance at 388 to 400, call it. And then again, starting at 410 all the way up to 425, that pocket of volume right there will present significant resistance. That's in line with the 78.6% fib level. So you can see how all these things are related. Coming over to the 4-hour chart on Tesla, on the 4-hour chart, you notice we're in this ascending linear regression channel that we've been in ever since Monday, May the 7th. We did tag the bottom of it back here in June 5th and 6th when we had that huge sell-off on Tesla. Then look at this candle right here, this giant green candle going from around 325 all the way up to 355, 360. That was in response to the robotaxi launch. We're in this current resistance zone that I was telling you about. We came to the top of it back here in the end of May. We're back up to the top of it again right now at the end of June. Do we have enough momentum to propel us into the upper part of this linear regression channel? Notice how we're also right up against the slanted green line. Do we have enough to propel us back into the upper part of the channel, to propel us back up to the top of the confluence cloud? We are starting to look overheated. Take a look right here. We're getting ready to print a red mean reversion dot if I was a guessing man. RSI has gone from being up here over 70 to dropping back down to almost the midpoint. So it looks like we're going to reset, maybe pull back down somewhere into the midpoint of this range, maybe even to the bottom of this resistance zone before the next leg up. Not unusual. You see here, same things have happened before. Every time we've run up, we've consolidated, run up, consolidated, run up, and then sold off. Same thing after a green mean reversion dot. Notice we run up afterwards and then make our way back to the mean. Everything mean reverts. Nvidia on the daily chart. This is the most boring one of all. It's just up and to the right. Look at that trend. I mean, that trend on is just straight up and to the right. We just keep printing red mean reversion dots. It keeps going from strength to strength to strength. Not a lot else to say there. We've broken through. We're up into this next resistance zone right here. We're up in it. We were beating our heads up against it for a week or two, and now we're up in that zone. If you take a look at it here on the 4-hour chart, you can see that, don't mind this light blue line. That was a covered call that I had that I'm going to end up having to roll up and out because it's at 145, and I'm going to need to roll that up to probably 150, but something that I do all the time. Interesting to note, all three of these moving averages have converged in this zone of 123 to 128 or so. You'll note that the green, the 50-day moving average is about to go up through the yellow line. The 200-day moving average, that's bullish, right? So we're in a bullish strength to strength to strength. We have not been mean reverted to the downside with Nvidia since Thursday, April the 24th. That was the last time, and we were fractionally mean reverted there. The last actual mean reversion dot was on Tuesday, the 22nd of April. Since then, it's been only red dots, only overbought conditions. This thing has just skyrocketed up. It should mean revert at some point, but notice it pretty much reset itself right here on Monday, yesterday, back down to the mean. So we're pretty much where we should be right now with Nvidia. So what do I see to the upside? The all-time high is right up here at 153.75, I think is the number. 153.73 is the all-time high. I could see us getting back up to that again here shortly over the next month or two. Finally, MicroStrategy Tesla. Here's the MicroStrategy Tesla. You'll note that I had put this light gray line in here to see, did we have a trend reversal, right? So we were up and to the right, but we've made it to the bottom part of this channel on two separate occasions now. Once back here on the 28th to the 30th of May, and then again here starting on the 23rd to the 24th, yesterday and today of June. That's telling you it's a good time to go from Tesla, this buy signal from Tesla, back into MicroStrategy. Up here, it's MicroStrategy into Tesla. I would venture to say that I'm going to go ahead and flick on this other linear regression channel. I'm going to go ahead and set it so you guys can see what I'm doing with this. I would venture to say that we have kind of switched direction a little bit here. Watch what happens as I build this in and I align it with that vertical gray line. There you go. So, and I'll hide the other one so that it doesn't, I would venture to say that we may have reversed direction because we made a high, we made a low, we made a lower low. So lower high, lower low, lower high. If this drops below this low, we have definitely continued down this way, and that means that Tesla is outperforming MicroStrategy. Do I believe that that is the case? Me personally, no. I think that MicroStrategy is going to overpower Tesla over the next few months, more than anything because of the S&P 500 inclusion. It's just going to have this insane volume coming in. And I believe the shorts over there are going to get squeezed like there's no tomorrow prior to Tesla making its big run up, which I anticipate will happen a little bit later in the year. That's my personal feelings. So I think we're still in this regime right here, which is this. Give me a second. Oh, let me just hide this. There we go. I think we're still in this regime right here. I think we're near the bottom of it. Every time we're near the bottom of it, go Tesla into MicroStrategy. Every time we're near the top or even the midpoint, go from MicroStrategy back into Tesla. So you can play the mid-range of this. You can play the full range of this. But right now, we're near the bottom of this pair. We're very mean reverted to the downside. Typically, we'll get another buy signal. Buy means go and buy MicroStrategy with Tesla shares. So, and because I never play with my entire bag on this pair, I'm never fully swapping all of my MicroStrategy for Tesla, nor all of my Tesla for MicroStrategy. If I've allotted, let's say, 100 shares of each into this strategy, I'm going back and forth with the 100, and maybe up here I took 100 and turned them into 145, and down here I took 145 and turned it back into 145 of the other, and up here I took the 145 and turned it into 175 or 180, and down here I take the 180 and I go back into 180 of MicroStrategy. So you can see where I ended up with starting with 100, and now I'm back into more than that of the other assets. So you're going back and forth with a portion of your bag from that point forward versus your entire bag. All right, guys, I hope you found value in today's video. If you did, make sure you like this video. Comment below. What'd you like best? What did you learn? Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of the videos that I put out on this topic, TA Tuesdays, as well as other topics that I do along the way. And you'll see other content like mine, not just mine, but others like mine, so that you can continue increasing your financial literacy. If you want to increase it even further, book a course with me so that you can learn TradingView and technical analysis inside and out like a pro. You can master trading options with my Understanding Options class, and then book a course with, book an individual appointment with me so we can further refine your learning along the way. Remember, I'm G Dinero. I'm here to help you increase your financial literacy, to help put you and your family on that path to financial freedom. Guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.